This is a video to show you how to do your dietary analysis assignment. This assignment is not due until the end of the semester, but it's really important that you start this soon because it's a very lengthy assignment. It is also worth 100 points. So it's really important that we get started on this early in the semester. There's quite a few steps to it, so I'm going to show you how you can access these steps. If you go to Course Home, you will see that there is a little tab called Course Materials. I want you to click on View Documents. Mine says Manage Documents because I manage them, but yours says View Documents. If you click on View Documents, you're going to see a folder that says My Diet Analysis. Dietary and Activity Analysis. When you click on that, you're going to see all the different steps to this assignment. Step 1, Step 2, Step 3, Step 4, Step 5, and Step 6. You're going to want to download these all and read through the directions and how to do this assignment. So let's start with Step 1 and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so this is the document that you would download for Step 1, and it gives you instructions on what you need to do. So for Step 1, the goal here is that you need to record your dietary or your food intake for 7 days straight. And when I say 7 days straight, I mean you can't start on a Monday and then stop Tuesday because, I don't know, maybe you forgot or something, or you're too busy. You have to do it 7 days in a row. If you skip a day, then you have to start over. So for 7 days in a row, you need to record your food intake, and it could be any week that you want to pick or any 7 days in a row that you want to choose to do. So if you want to start this next week, that's great. I don't recommend doing this a week before the project is due because you have other steps to do as well. Also, I want to make sure that you pick a date or a time to start this that works best for you. So don't choose a week where you're sick, because when you're sick, you tend to not eat the same things as when you're not sick. Don't also pick like Thanksgiving week break or spring break or anything like that. Pick a week that's pretty normal to you, not a week where you're really stressed out. Because the idea behind this is we're going to take all of this information and we're going to be putting it into a software program. And that software program is going to tell you everything that you want to know about your diet. How many calories do you typically get? Are you getting enough fat? Are you getting too much saturated fat? Are you getting enough iron? Are you getting enough vitamin A? How much fiber are you getting? So if you're picking a week that is not typical, then you're really not doing yourself a favor, and this assignment kind of becomes pointless. So find a week this semester that works really well for you. Again, I recommend doing this a little earlier rather than later. So once you have your week down, this is a chart that you are going to use to record all of your food. You have to use this chart. So a good example here is it says meal, food, amount, and description. So I like to use acronyms for my meal. So I do B for breakfast, L for lunch, D for dinner, and maybe like S for snack. That might help you to distinguish, which ones are breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then for food, say for breakfast you had eggs. Say you had 2. And for description, maybe you want to put that they were medium-sized eggs. Where was this eaten? You could say kitchen. Time of the day, 7:30. What were you doing? Watching TV. How did you feel? Probably tired at 7:30. Who are you with? Nobody. Say you had something else with that. You'd keep going, and then you'd go to lunch, dinner, and do a snack. If you didn't have breakfast, then obviously you would skip that. Again, the idea behind this is to try to be as accurate as possible. We tend to underestimate how much we eat. So this amount is really important. And I know that's going to be a challenge, but a good rule of thumb is to always look at the nutrition label for looking at how much you ate. And maybe also use serving cups and have those out in your kitchen during this week so you can kind of see what does a cup look like, what does a half a cup look like. And that might help you get a better accurate description of the amount of food that you're actually eating. So you're also going to be recording alcohol as well, and also water. Those are really important. If you decided to have, I don't know, 15 Oreos in the morning for breakfast, put it on there. You have to put that stuff on there. I don't care that you had 15 Oreos for breakfast. So if you're trying to hide stuff from me, that's pointless. I'm not the food police. We've all been there. We've all had Oreos for breakfast before. If that is what you did, you have to put it on there. Otherwise, you're not really doing yourself a favor for this assignment. So own the things that you ate, put it on there. I promise those things don't matter to me. I won't look at it in that aspect. So once you've done that, you also have a day one activity record. So for the same day, you also have to record any physical activity that you do. Now, I want to make sure we understand something about this. You do not, and it even says it down here below, you do not need to record things like you walked from your car to class, or you brushed your teeth, or you did housework. Those things do not belong on here. The only things that go on here is intentional physical activity. Like, for instance, you worked out at the gym, or you went for a run, or you went for a bike ride, or something like that. Those are the things that need to be on here. If you're one of those, if you have a job where you're walking all the time, when we put this all into the dietary analysis software, you have to create a profile. And one of the questions they ask you is if you have a job where you're constantly walking. And if you are, then you click yes. And then the computer factors that stuff in there for you. So you don't need to put it on here. It is important that you distinguish if it is low, moderate, or vigorous activity. And the best way to figure that out is by going back up here, which tells you what constitutes as low intensity, moderate, or high. My rule of thumb is if I can't carry a conversation and I'm breathing really heavily, then it's high intensity. Low intensity for me is that I can carry a conversation. So please make sure you put that stuff in there. There might be days where your activity record is completely blank, and that is okay. Don't lie, just make sure you're being honest. So as you can see, I have all of these here for you. You have a couple of options. Everything here is going to be emailed to me, which is a little bit different than most assignments. So you can type it on here if you want, or what I do recommend, which might help you, is printing this out and carrying it with you throughout those days and then recording it as you go. And then what you can do is scan these in here and create a PDF and then email it to me. But I should mention that it is important that you're carrying something with you all day to record. And it has to be on this sheet at the end of the day. So however you want to do it is perfectly fine. But if you decide to, come here at the end of the night and try to record everything, you're not going to get your amounts correct. And we really want that. So let me show you what this looks like. I have an example here for you. No, I don't. Okay, here is the example for you of what this would look like. This is somebody who decided to write it in and then scan it. You can also type it however you want to do this. So they wrote the little things in here too that we often forget about, which is butter and ketchup. And again, are you really going to, know that it was a teaspoon or a tablespoon of ketchup? No. But you have to do your best at just guessing at really what that was. Also for descriptions, little things like Greek yogurt. It's important that you put that it was Greek versus regular because there is a big difference. And then of course, any water that you have, you can tally it or write it in there as well, but everything on here will be recorded. Ran 3 miles on the treadmill, moderate for 40 minutes, etc. So if you're really struggling on what to write down, look at this as a good rule of thumb. Now let's get back to this, because this is going to be your second step. This is step 2. After you've done this for 7 days and you've recorded everything, you're now going to look at your food behavior. So for breakfast on day 1, which is Monday, for breakfast, this person was in the living room. It was 7:30. What were they doing? They were watching TV, they were tired, and they weren't with anybody. So if you download step 2 document, this is what it looks like. And the idea behind this assignment, or this step, I should say, is that you're going to start to tally everything in there as far as when, where, why, and what were you doing while you're eating. So for that example, we would say that this person was in the living room. So I'm going to put it, that's a tally. That's how I'm going to make a tally for it being on the computer. It was 7:30 in the morning, so I'm going to put a tally down there. What was that person doing? They were watching TV. How are they feeling? They were tired. Who are they with? Nobody. And then we're going to go to lunch. For lunch, we will see that they were at their desk. It was 12:30. They were working and they felt rushed. So where was the food eaten? We're going to write desk right here. And then we're going to tally underneath desk. And what time was it? It was 12:30, so we do 11 to 1. The activity, they were working. So we would tally under working. The emotional state was they felt rushed. The companion was nobody. And then you do dinner, and then you do snacks, and then you go to day number 2 and you start to tally, and it's all going to be done on this one sheet. So by the end of this, there should be multiple tallies, and you should be able to tell where you typically eat, what time of day you typically eat based on these tallies, what you're usually doing, what your emotional state usually is, and who your companion is most of the time in those 7 days. Now, I know tallying on a computer like this is really difficult. If you want to print this out and use a pencil to tally it and scan this back in, you can do that. Or you can tally it on your own and then just write that maybe you have 8 tallies for living room and there's like 6 tallies for the week that you were at your desk. However you want to do this, as long as I can tell where the majority of your stuff was done or your eating was done, that works perfectly fine. So that is step 2. And then we're going to move on to step 3. And step 3, again, you're going to download this document, is directions on how to put all of this information into a computer program. And that's really important. This is one of the most important steps. It tells you how to get into the My Diet Analysis software. This My Diet Analysis software is found on your Mastering Nutrition. If you were to go down here to My Diet Analysis, you would click on that. It would look something like this, and then you would click on My Diet Analysis. Let's click on it and see what happens. And this software program comes up. I recommend watching these videos on how to do all of the different steps before you actually do them. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to create a profile. I already have a profile. No, I don't. So I'm going to create a new profile, and you're going to put all this information in here about your birth date, your gender, how much you weigh, what's your height, and then it's going to ask you a series of questions based on all that information. Once you have that profile down, you're going to click on Diet Tracker. And what you're going to do is enter in all of that data from 7 days, and you're going to find all the foods that you ate, and you're going to put it into the system. You're also going to put in your activity as well too, under this little chart here. And when you put it under activity, you're going to write that maybe you ran for 40 minutes and whatnot. Once you do all of that information and you enter in your food, you're going to click on Reports, and you're going to click on All Daily Reports, and a report will come up of everything that you want to know about your diet. A couple of things to note is that there's going to be a few times where you're not going to be able to find the exact food that you ate. For instance, it might not have that you had Jif peanut butter. Find a peanut butter that is similar, or just pick a peanut butter. It's not going to be perfect, but just find something that is relatable to it. That's all I can really tell you on that. It's going to be difficult sometimes, but just find something that's similar to the product that you ate. Once you click on Reports, there's an option to email it to me. And you're going to email it to me, and I have now your step 3. That report is also really important because this report now is going to answer questions for you that I need you to know, or that I need to know for the next part of the steps.